Today's first impressions video is on Hoversteppers, which is kind of like a futuristic Tony Hawk's. You use a hoverboard to go around many different areas in a freestyle sort of environment with the ability to unlock challenges and get personal bests and get really good high scores, doing different tricks and knocking things over and stuff. On the surface, it seems like it has a lot of potential, but once playing it for about an hour, I got a little bit bored as it was very shallow and a bit repetitive. The actual maps are very well designed, but overall, it just didn't feel like there was a lot to it. The tricks were very limited, and the character design and stuff didn't really seem to change much outside of the special that you can do. The options menu has the same issue that the rest of the game has, which is the font is incredibly difficult to read. I get why they've chosen the font that they have, but the color contrast and the fact that the words and letters aren't really very well highlighted makes it very difficult to read what you're actually trying to do and change. The actual options themselves, there isn't a lot there, but what they do have is quite useful. You've got your resolution, you can have it on full screen on or off. You've got VSync on or off, which is off by default. Your language, you can change the metric units, you can change the controller rumble on or off, and it does have PSX controls enabled or disabled as well. Your audio is your master and your music volume. You can't change your sound effects individually. That can only be do with the master volume, and the volume is quite loud, so you're probably going to want to turn that down a little bit as well. Controls are not rebindable, but you can change between the mouse and keyboard and your controller very easily just by using your controller when it's plugged in. As you can see, you've got different tricks, and that's your lot. That is what is available. Now, being able to rebind your keys, especially if you are using controller and maybe don't want to do it the way that it wants you to, would be nice. But hey, it's 2024 and we still don't have that. When selecting characters, you can choose the style of the map, you can choose the character, and you can then customize the board. Unfortunately, the game doesn't really do a very good job of explaining how you unlock stuff. I assume it's by doing different challenges, but don't quote me on it, because I don't know how I unlock the second map, and after that, they're just sort of grayed out. Now, there are a number of maps that you can do, and I've unlocked 2 so far, but don't ask me how I've done it, because again, the game just doesn't tell you. There's no tooltip to say so. The tutorial doesn't really go into how to unlock new maps. It just tells you to do challenges, so I'm assuming it's from those. On the Freestyle Warehouse, you can, of course, have the tutorial on or off, and it does automatically uncheck when you have completed the tutorial to its satisfaction. Again, the characters are fairly limited. You've got Moon, you've got Theta, and then you've got somebody who I don't know, and I, again, have no idea how you unlock them. If you choose Moon and go into customization, you have a different outfit, which again, no idea how to unlock, and then the board. The board is the same on all the characters. You've got the same upgrades and same sort of new designs that you can unlock as you go through. That is the same throughout. It's just the character design is different on each. And again, no idea how I unlock them. I've got no idea what I need to be aiming for, whether I need to do the achievements in order to unlock them or not. Once you're happy with your character, you hit back, and then you hit go to play. I'm very happy to report that the game does not have a huge sort of load-in time. It's actually very quick. And this is the game. So when you're in a map, you can just ride around, do different tricks. It is something to get used to, because in most games like this, I'm used to pressing the A button or the X button if I'm on PS, or the bottom button. There's usually a button specifically for jump, but this game doesn't have that. Each button does a different trick, and if you're trying to get onto a certain area, or if you want to get a bit more air, there's no real way of doing that outside of boosting over it. It's a bit weird and a bit annoying that they've chosen that, because it's a really bad habit to try and get out of when you're playing a skateboard type game. Having something to give you a bit more lift, especially when you've got a lot of challenges that are airborne based so that you can do more tricks, is kind of frustrating. The other really bad thing about this is the sort of steering. The steering is very wide, because you can only use the left stick, and if you're using a controller, you can only use the left thumbstick, and you can't turn the camera with your right thumbstick. which makes it really, really awkward. I would really very much appreciate being able to change the camera angle to see what I'm doing a bit easier sometimes and to see where things are. It's a bit annoying that you can't do that. Now, the way that you're going to get your big points is by comboing your different tricks. And like I said, outside of a special, there really isn't a lot that you can do outside of the same 3 or 4 tricks. It's a bit upsetting and a bit annoying because the game does feel very shallow. Like, you can grind and then you can jump off from a grind, and again you've got your grab moves and you also have your special. If you screw it up you will fall over, and that's not what anybody wants. The challenges are dotted around the different areas and they will change once you have completed them, but you can do them over again to get a high score. I will say that if you're looking for a challenge, you're in the right place because these challenges are incredibly difficult. There are some that don't really do a good job of explaining what it actually wants from you. Some are just combos, etc. And yeah, like to get them to actually pass, very, very difficult. I had a very hard time on a lot of them to just get a passing grade. If you like a challenge, if you like something that you can use as a dip in, dip out game, this game is going to be incredibly good for you. It's fun in short bursts. It's not one that I would sit and play for hours and hours on end because there isn't really any reason to outside of the challenges and to unlock the very limited maps and characters that you have. I don't know if they're planning on adding more later on, but I feel like they could probably do some work on the controller setup and making it feel a little bit more fluid and making the board just act a little bit less like a boat. Very good game, very good base of a game, a little bit shallow, could do with a little bit more content and a few more tricks and specials and combos that you could maybe add in to just make this game really stand out. Thank you very much for watching. I hope to see you all next time. Ciao, ciao.